Yo, what's up? It's Void, back with another 7 daily video, and today we're gonna be talking about Jericho. Like I've been chilling in VC. I've seen some people come in and be like, "I'll pull Jericho. What should I do with Jericho? What's the best weapon for Jericho?" And I'm just gonna make a video at this point. Might as well just make a video and clear it all up. So we're gonna be talking about her weapons, like her 3 weapons. We're not gonna talk about armor. I'm gonna give you a tip on the mastery. And then what else was I gonna do? Oh, her weapon. I would say her best weapon for the dual swords. First, let's start with the kit or the passive for the dual swords. Frozen Edge. Activating the hero's cold burst decreases the enemy's cold resistance by 25% for 30 seconds and restores 1 tag point. This isn't really useful because the team that I'm running is melee and Jericho, where when you activate the cold burst, you're switching in Meliodas. So this first part doesn't really do anything, but the 1 tag point is just good all around. Honestly, you're just getting a free tag point back for it. So it's a solid passive. The first part really doesn't do anything. It's really made for if you were doing an ice team, which I've heard Manny is crazy, but Manny is the actual ice DPS. So this would be good for a Manny team. Her first ability, which I'm pretty sure this is her Q, inflict damage equal to 101 of attack. The final strike deals an increased, additional increase the burst gauge. That sounds like broken English. Basically, adds 300 to the burst gauge while Frozen Saber is active. Probably wondering, what's Frozen Saber? That's her E. When you gain Frozen Saber for 10 seconds, inflict damage equal to 161 attack. Frozen Saber, it takes over your normal attacks and it teleports it behind the enemy, inflicting additional damage and increasing their burst gauge by 20. It's good. What I've been realizing that I've been doing is I've been pressing her Q first and then the E, when you need to be pressing the E first and then the Q, because you want this extra 300, and then you're also getting the extra 20 from doing the attacks from. On top of that is her ult. Inflict damage equal to 246 attack. Each hit adds afflicted damage equal to 40% of damage dealt while Frozen Saber is active. So she's really built around Frozen Saber. At the end of the day, you want Frozen Saber active. I have not been looking at any, I don't know if anything can give you cooldown for Frozen Saber if you were trying to make her a full DPS, but I feel like if you're able to do that, you can make it a possibility. But really, I've been using her to build up burst gauge, because as you can see, all her stuff is additional burst gauge. This is additional damage when you have it active, but you're not really popping her ult because you're going to use the ult with Meliodas. So her dual swords are by far my favorite. If you're going to use Jericho, use the dual swords. Second, we have the lance. All allies get a frozen breath for 20 seconds. With each hit, hero gains a barrier up to 10 times. An additional increase to cold damage by 20% while Frozen Breath is active. At its max, you have to get it max 10 times before this even applies. Frozen Breath increases defense by 3%, 5%, and 5%. 3% for fire, or general defense by 3%, fire defense by 5%, earth defense by 5%. I would say it's niche. I feel like it's kind of a niche situation that you're also getting it, but you also got to think this is 30% defense, 50% defense, and 50% defense. It's pretty good. If you're going to use her as any defensive ice setup, I could see you using that, but there's definitely more, there's better characters out there for a defensive character, which we'll go over in different videos. I've heard King is pretty good. I've heard I've just been hearing that different characters are better at this than her, but she seems like a solid character for it. Next, we got Ice Wave. Inflict damage equal to 86% of attack. It's just the basic skill. This one, Ice Rock. Inflict damage equal to 148 of attack. The final strike gains all allies heroes barrier equal to 20% of max HP for 20 seconds. Again, another barrier character. This just seems like what mainly Earth does, but just on ice. Additional increase, all allies heroes gains 20%, gains cold damage by 20% for 40 seconds if the hero already has the barrier, which her whole kit's around the barrier. So usually you will have the barrier up. Then you'll also have hopefully you'll have the 50% earth and fire defense up and the 30% general defense up. Lastly is ult, Ice Field. Inflict damage equal to 214% of attack. Inflict freeze for 8 seconds. Increase damage dealt by 10 every one frozen breath stack you have on the hero. And then just freeze. Incapable to move, and you get extra damage for it until freeze removes. So really, yeah, it's just all about frozen breath, having that barrier up, having that defense up. It's really just an ice earth character at this point, which again, pretty solid. Hopefully, like I'll play around with it for sure. Like I'll switch out, but right now, since it's early game, I'm trying to keep the same team, but I'm gonna eventually start switching out characters just to see what it does, how much her defense helps, this, that, and the other. I feel like this is a above mediocre pick if you want to use her as a defense, a decent defensive character. Like you just pulled her. I already have somewhat of a team. I'm just gonna throw on the team as a defense character. I think she'll work pretty nicely. Don't quote me on that. Lastly, we got her Rapier. And I'm not gonna lie, I think her Rapier might be the worst one. Increase crit damage by 3% for 5 seconds when attacking a chilled or frozen enemy. A max of 25. You would I should have calculated this. Where's my phone? Basically, her whole thing is doing crit. Let's just look at our other two skills. Frostfang stab, inflict damage equal to 160 of the attack. Attack a chilled or frozen enemy, increased crit chance by 50. Each hit decreases the normal skill cooldown by 2. So when you're attacking a chilled or frozen enemy, which I'm pretty sure is anything you hit, I don't think you can freeze bosses, but I know you can chill. I think you can chill them. I'm pretty sure you can chill them. I know you can chill them. You can chill them. You get that 50% defense rate or 50% crit chance raise. And then with this one, the Ice Blade Dance, increase the hero's cold damage by 20% for 10 seconds, then inflict damage equal to 100 or 201% of attack. Attacking a chilled or frozen enemy, crit damage. So you with these two, you're trying to push for 100% crit or at least 50% crit. This 10% or 10 seconds. So you wanna, I'm guessing you wanna pop this first to get the 10 seconds and then pop this one for the 100% damage. But you also wanna have full stacks of this because it only lasts 5 seconds, but you wanna have try to have close to full stacks of this to increase her crit damage. But this is all around crit, so you will have to get a weapon built around crit, which I know there's like a few out there that does that, but you have to build her fully around crit, which might be useful. But again, right now Meliodas is hitting for crazy amounts of damage, and it's much easier to focus on leveling up Meliodas and doing overall damage versus putting a whole bunch of resources into her and going to farm equipment trying to make this build work. So I would say Rapier's, in the long run, this might actually be useful, but currently I would say dual swords is the best. Now talking about dual swords, the actual weapon, I'm currently using blazing dual swords and have first strike on this. After like looking through a few, this is definitely the best one. If you're gonna use dual swords, definitely use this one because that's ambush. Back attacks decrease crit resistance by 16% for 12 seconds. If you remember, her frozen saber teleports her behind them. Using normal attacks, teleport the hero behind the enemy and inflict additional damage. You're going to be decreasing their crit resistance, or crit chance resistance? Oh, crit resistance, just crit resistance. You're going to be decreasing their crit resistance by knowing how much you can hit by. It might be 100%. I would say by 16 for, I don't know if this stacks. If this stacks, it might be 100%. If it's just a base 16 is not bad, especially for Meliodas to come in and start doing crazy amounts of damage. Definitely a good thing to have. So I would definitely recommend that as the best weapon. Lastly, the mastery. I'm going through and I'm doing the mastery on her dual swords. I wanted to warn people that when you're going through and you're getting this up, I do get the nodes up. The nodes do definitely help. They give you overall stats. This applies to all weapons. But when you finish a node and there's like the pop outs, these stats only apply when this is equipped. Do not do these. Especially for like if you're gonna use melee and you're only using the dual swords, or you're only using the axe, or you're only using don't use the long sword. But if you're only using like the axe or dual swords, make sure not to level up any of these unless you're actually planning on using them. They don't give you any additional stats unless this is equipped. Unless you have the X equipped and actively using it, it does not give you any stats. So be warned. This is like, I'll probably end up putting this into like make sure do not, but this is probably one of the biggest things that I've seen that people have done, and I fully do not recommend you doing that. You're gonna burn mats, and you're gonna waste resources in the early game, you're gonna waste resources early game and at the start of the game where you're gonna start plateauing because you don't have these resources available. Anyways, that was Jericho. That was my Jericho video. So this is after I finished recording the other section. I definitely forgot to give y'all like some gameplay of what I was talking about. Let's find the boss. I've been running around completing like Red Demon today. I think this one actually might respawn. So Rapier. Then I'll actually give you a demonstration of what I mean with Jericho. Where? Like I was saying, dual swords Jericho, great support, burst support. She's a good support like with her lance. Her sub DPS comes from her rapier and her dual swords. I usually mainly use dual swords as I went the wrong word. I usually use her dual swords for burst gauge support. I feel like that's a great thing for her to be used for. Definitely her dual swords. I'll give you a little demonstration. Alright, what's up? First you want to pop E. That gets the damage. Then you want to pop this. You see how fast the burst gauge is filling up now? Then you can pop her ult, which I'll pop her ult. Just to give some more burst gauge. But all this is, you want to use her skills. Yeah, a little bit him there. But you want to use, you legit using her E, then her Q, and then if you want, you can use her ult. I wouldn't recommend it most times. It's just like a boss for whatever. But then Meliodas comes in and just does all of this. His dice is going crazy. Basically, You see, you want to use her E, then her Q, Alt if you can, and then after that burst goes off, you sub in Meliodas. Meliodas does a metric poop ton of damage, and then you good to go. Then most of the time you want to refresh, you just do that just like 2-3 times, and the boss is dead by then. Hopefully the demonstration helped to show you what I was talking about, and I'll probably cut this before I give the intro out. So then you'll get the intro. I'll see y'all. I hope you enjoyed. I hope it was helpful. Honestly, I hope it was helpful. I didn't talk about armor because armor, I'm still going through the story, so I'm getting armor. I'm still upgrading my world level, so I'm still getting better and better armor. In late game, when I'm like max level, I'll actually put out armor guides for characters to help what they do, which I gotta find some Meliodas armor that's like actually gonna do stuff, and there's sets to the armor, which I just now realized. So I'll be putting out guides for that when I hit max level. But I hope this video was helpful. We just started off with Jericho. We're gonna end up going down the list. The next video tomorrow, probably gonna be Meliodas. I feel like Meliodas is definitely the strongest character in the game as of right now. So getting him properly built and knowing what he uses is gonna be very helpful. So I hope you enjoyed. I will see you later. Peace.